Now in this lesson I'd like to talk about the bushfire physics. These are called bushfires in Australia, wildfires in the United States and Canada, different names in different parts of the world, but they're all the same things. And they are terrifying things, and things where the physics is both very interesting and very useful, and there's a lot of research on it going on both here in Canberra and elsewhere around the world. So this has become a distressingly common sight in Australia, some plume of smoke rising in the distance because something is burning. Luckily most people don't get close to these things, but when you do get close they are totally terrifying, as you can see in this picture. This is the closest I've ever been to a bushfire. This was burning off at Siding Spring Observatory that got out of control. I was photographing this from the back deck of the 2.3 metre telescope with a nice clear stretch of open ground between us, so I was fairly safe. However, there were the Canberra bushfires in 2003, which some of you may be old enough to remember. I was here at the time. This is a graph showing how they spread. And this is a distant view of these fires. This is what it looked like from my house, which was not actually in danger, but you could see this half the sky went totally black and then the sky went orange. And if you lived in the western part of Canberra, this is what often happened to your house. Absolutely terrifying. Luckily not that many people died, but a lot of hundreds of houses were destroyed. This is what the pine forest looked like after the fire had gone through. This was a picture I took a few days later, and you can see all the leaves gone and still some smoke rising from the ground. And this is what happened to where I worked, Mount Stromlo Observatories. This is the Yale Columbia telescope dome that was destroyed in the fires. So bushfires are a major problem in Australia, but they're also a major problem in many other parts of the world. Australia has the worst fires, probably. Some fires over 400,000 square kilometres have been burnt in some fire seasons, but there have been very nasty ones in the United States. At the time of filming this, there was a fairly recent fire that destroyed the town of Lahaina in Hawaii. Canada has massive fires. Russia has massive fires, in fact the second biggest only to Australia. And just in the last few years there have been major fires in Greece, Spain, Bolivia, Brazil, China. And actually there have even been fires in places like the United Kingdom, which are normally thought to be small wet countries that would not burn. Bushfires are happening in countries that never used to see them, and global warming is only going to make it worse. So why is bushfire physics important? I mean, clearly bushfires are important. They do huge amounts of damage, they're terrifying, they kill people. Well, it's very important if a fire is broken out to be able to model how it's going to spread. To say, these are the towns at risk in the next day, and in 3 days from now it might reach over here. And so the modelling of fires so that you know where it might spread, so where you should evacuate, where you should try and put in fire breaks, that's really important. It's also important to understand how fires destroy buildings so you can make buildings that are fireproof. Also, it teaches you what to do to survive if you are caught in a bushfire. It can also help us understand what sorts of environments make fires worse so we can improve them, and understanding of how we can prevent or stop fires.